It's time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to The Pet Show. Is your Springer Spaniel acting a little spoiled? Does your Calico kitten have you totally crazed? Do your dachshunds seem a bit depressed? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and I mean really want to understand the way your dogs and cats think, if you want to figure out why they behave the way they do or just try to understand it a little bit better, you know what to do. Maybe you just want to improve their lifestyle. Well, you can, because you're listening to The Pet Show, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet lifestyle, pet whatever you want to call it show. This is the show. If you have questions or comments or want to find out why your dogs and cats behave a certain way, you have come to the right place. Hello, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the Evergrowing Pet Show family, maybe you have a question about your dog or cat's behavior. Maybe you're a little confused about why your cat is waking you up in the middle of the night, or why your dog is barking like crazy, or digging holes all over your backyard, or doesn't get along with the dog next door, or you can't take him in the car because he goes crazy. You try to take him for a walk down the street and he pulls you down a block and you fall down. Your dog's jumping on everyone he sees, humping everything in sight. Get the idea, right? That's what we do here on The Pet Show. We help people resolve issues, or questions, or just kind of explain to them why their dogs and cats behave a certain way. And it lets that relationship, as good as your relationship with your dog and cat is now, it even gets better and better with time. You really understand why they do the things they do. So, as always, plenty of time to answer all of your pet and animal questions. Lots of great stuff to give away on The Pet Show as well. And you may be new to The Pet Show. I do give items to everyone who calls into the show, and there's reasons for that. Number one is I really believe in the items I give away, but more importantly than that, very often the items I give away are related to the question you're asking me about. So if you have a question or a comment, just want to share a great story, I love to hear from listeners that brag or want to talk about great dogs maybe they're living with now, or great cats they may have had growing up in the past. So plenty of time for your calls. As I said, lots of great stuff to give away. I got Hugs and Kisses back in stock, so I'll be giving away Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. Lucy Pet Food, as far as I'm concerned, the only food to feed your pets. I'll be giving away Lucy Pet Food, Kitty Lickies, Doggy Lickies, Hip to Be Square Treats. And I just gave some neighbors of mine here in Arizona, because we are just coyotes all over the place. And I love coyotes, but I don't want them going after dogs. I gave them a bunch of those air horns that you hear me talk about. And I have some air horns to give away as well. So if you have a question or a comment, want to share a great story, brag about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. The phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-KRLA. Or if you're more of a numbers person, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. By the way, the gifts I give away here on the show, we're not talking biscuits here. Many of the items are worth $35, $45, even $50. So if you have a question or a comment, want to share a story, talk about a dog or cat you grew up with, that's what the show's all about. It's strictly about your best friends. And you know what I say, none of them walk upright. Again, the number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let me tell you what I have planned for today's show. Busy show. First of all, many of my listeners, I tried to do this last week, but I ran out of time. What a shock, right? Many of my listeners, I think the majority of my listeners live with more than one dog or cat. Now, you in fact may just be ready to add a new pet to your home. But the question is, Are your dogs and cats ready for a new housemate? You may be ready. Are they ready? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And I want to kind of reiterate some of the stuff you hear me talk about that sometimes people get a little confused. You often hear me use the phrase that dogs and cats learn through the associative memory. So what does that really mean? Coming up on today's show, I want to talk about something that is really, really important that most trainers and behaviorists don't even talk about. It's called single event learning. Single event learning. And once you understand it, it can make all the difference in the world. And it's so important for guardians like yourself to really get a handle on that. Also coming up, if you live with a dog or cat, I'm assuming you do, it's really important to understand the term response substitution. Response substitution and high value rewards. What's a high value reward? We're going to talk about that later on the show. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. So if your dog happens to be, or your cat happens to be confused about the litter box, your dog is chewing, the cat is scratching, keeping you up at night, the dog isn't housebroken, the cat's not using the litter box, cat doesn't get along with the other cats, dog doesn't get along with your neighbor, humps everything inside, you get the idea. That's what we're going to do. We're going to help you resolve issues that you may be having with your pets. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, the question of the day. I get into arguments all the time. Maybe it's just me. But I got into an argument with someone this week. And you may agree with them and you may agree with me, but I want to hear from you. They told me I was absolutely nuts. Well, that's not the first time I heard that, guys. Come on, I've been talking to you for 45 years. But I tried to explain to him, no matter how much he wants to tell me, that humans' emotions are so much better than animal emotions, and humans understand so many different things about blah, 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 blah. Not true. The question of the day is, do you really believe that your dogs and cats love you? Do you really believe that dogs and cats understand the concept of love, adoration? I do, always have. In fact, sometimes I believe my dogs and cats and other animals I lived with over the years love me more than any human being. So they told me that they don't believe that dogs and cats have the ability to understand love, the ability to love. They like you just because you give them food and a pat on the head once in a while. So is it me or is it the other guy that you believe? So do you believe like I do that dogs and cats in fact really do love you? Give me a call. Let me know. Help me out here, guys. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of open lines. We're just starting, so great time to give me a call. Now, I want to get serious with you guys for a moment. Coming up Wednesday is the anniversary, I don't even like that term, of 9/11. Let me spend a couple of minutes before we start the show, and then I'm going to go into it a lot more later, but how I was involved with Ground Zero. I was living in Santa Monica, California, about 2,800 miles away from Ground Zero, right? Right after it happened, I got a call from a major foundation. And they said, Warren, we need you. I said, what do you mean you need me? We need you at Ground Zero. I said, well, I'm living in Santa Monica, and there's no planes flying. Everything's grounded. How am I supposed to get from Santa Monica to California, to New York? And by the way, the Canine Corps in New York was located at the old Brooklyn Navy Yard for any New Yorkers out there. So I looked at my wife, Denise, and I said, Denise, I'm packing a bag, loading up my 1992 Ford Explorer, and I'm heading to my hometown of New York. The corporation, the foundation decided, Warren, because of my international expertise in search and rescue and Schutzhund dogs and all of the knowledge that I have and over the years training in pretty much every continent, they said, we really need you to go evaluate the NYPD canine unit, what their needs are, what their training needs are, what their financial needs are. So I got into my car, drove to the Brooklyn Navy. I never stopped. Well, I maybe stopped at 7-Eleven for a cup of coffee, drove to the Brooklyn Navy Yard, got out of the car figuring I was going to talk to the officers involved and find out what maybe their needs were and whatever. I was there for exactly 2 minutes. And he said, Warren, I've been listening to you and watching you for years. Hop in the back of the police car. Where are we going? Right to ground zero. Right to ground zero. What an experience that was for me. What an experience it was for everybody. And it's not over. Just yesterday, I was talking to my lovely wife, Denise, and said, Denise, I just got a message that another friend of mine, a member of the NYPD rescue, just passed away from the experience and the chemicals and the medical issues he got while serving at Ground Zero. So it's not over. It is not over. So what I'm going to do, and by the way, if you're just tuning into YouTube, this is my prized possession. This is my NYPD K9 hat. And I'll tell you why I have it. And then I'll get to your calls. I've got plenty of time today. I'll tell you why I have the hat. When I left, after being there, when I left to come back to California, still no planes flying, I had to be decontaminated. My car had to be decontaminated. My clothes had to be decontaminated. I had no clothes. I had the outfit on my back. What was I going to do? So the amazing, amazing officers at NYPD came and I said, Warren, here's one of our workout suits, a blue top, sweatpants. Put them on. Here's your hat. Thank you. Bless you. I was able to raise a lot of money and help them out and have a safe trip back to California. Well, while driving back to California, again, the only outfit I had was this running suit from NYPD. NYPD on the shirt, NYPD on the pants, NYPD on my hat, even on my butt. Who knows? Anyway, I'm driving, and those people know me that I'm the real worst eater. I'm not a big fan of eating. I eat when I have to. So I'm driving along, and I got really, really hungry. And I saw a sign that said Cracker Barrel. Somewhere, maybe Tennessee. I don't even know where it was, whatever state. Anyway, it said Cracker Barrel. So I pulled in. The first time ever at a Cracker Barrel. Didn't even know it existed. Pulled into Cracker Barrel. Went in there. And I said, listen, can I get something to go? I really want to get back to California. And he said, where are you coming from? I said, coming from Ground Zero. The manager came out. The assistant manager came out. They said, here's what you ordered. Take it. It's on us. It's on us. And any Cracker Barrel you stop in on the way home, tell them where you're coming from, and I will let them know that we will serve you. Now, I said, listen, I have the money. I can pay for myself. And they wouldn't let me pay. So ever since then, when I get a chance, Cracker Barrel is my hangout. So what I'm going to do, and I might have posted some of these before, and I'm going to get to you, son, so don't go anywhere, is on Tuesday, September 10th, I'm going to have my assistant, Julie, post my personal photos of my time at Ground Zero. They're all very sad looking, except for one with a smile on my face when I was hugging a bloodhound. Anyway, so check out coming Tuesday, and Wednesday, check out either my Facebook page or my Instagram page, Instagram at warreneckstein.com, Instagram at Warren Eckstein, YouTube.com/ it'll be on Instagram too, but you can go to YouTube, you go to any of my sites. I'll talk more about it later. But anyway, you can tell from my heart that it's not an easy time at all. The sights, the visuals, the smell. And a lot of you may not be aware, but when I was younger, from the time I was 18 and even younger than that, I was a member of a volunteer fire department on Long Island, Oceanside, Long Island, volunteer fire department, rescue company #1, best organization in the world. And so many of the volunteer firefighters were all also employed as New York City firefighters. And a lot of people that I knew perished, and a lot of people that I know. I have a very, very, very close friend of mine, big biker guy in Pennsylvania. Big biker guy. Maybe in the gang, who knows? But we spent a lot of time growing up together, got into fights together, got beat up together, won a couple together. Really incredible guy. Anyway, every time I hear from him, His biggest worry of the day is, will he be able to breathe by evening? I don't know how much longer he has, but fingers crossed. Anyway, we'll talk more later. Anyway, right now it's your show. It's questions about your dogs and cats, peeing, pooping, humping, whatever they're doing. Lots of great stuff to give away. I told you, hugs and kisses, Lucy pet food. I have the T-shirts to give away, copies of my best-selling books, Hip to Be Square. Great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Great time to give me a call. If you have any questions about my time at Ground Zero, feel free to call me about that as well. But right now, if you have questions about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. Quick break, and then we'll get right back to the phone calls. You know, Alex, you must be paying attention today. The perfect song for my question of the day. The question of the day is, do you really believe that your dogs and cats love you? Someone said to me this week, they only like you because you feed them and pet them and take them for a walk. So the question is, do your dogs and your cats really, really love you? I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call. If you get through, a great gift will be on its way. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through, 866-870-5752. Got some lines open here, pretty unusual at the Pet Show. Lots of great stuff to give away. In fact, not only will I be giving away kitty lickies on this show, but I'll be giving away doggy lickies on this show as well. So if you have a question or a comment, just want to share a story or brag about your pet a little bit, great time to call me, 866-870-5752. I'm going to get to your call in a second, son, but my wife, Denise, is addicted to Trader Joe's pumpkin and spice cereal. But it only comes out once a year, and it only comes out for a short period of time. However, all I've been hearing lately is Starbucks, pumpkin and spice, Dunkin' Donuts, pumpkin and spice, this store, pumpkin and spice, pumpkin and spice, pumpkin and spice, pumpkin and spice. Well, you know what? Pumpkin and spice can be really, 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 really dangerous. Not for you, but for your pets. Coming up a little bit later, I'm going to tell you why you should never, ever give your dog any pumpkin and spice treats. 866-870-KRLA. Let's get to the phones here, and let's go to my friend, I believe it's San in Los Alamitos. Hey, San, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you today?
I have a question about... good morning. I had a question about Tonkinese cats.
I love Tonkinese cats. You know, they're a combination of a Siamese and a Burmese. What an amazing cat they are.
Yeah. The reason why I was calling is that we had one for 18 years, loved her. And I have a friend, she just lost her cat, and I was going to recommend her getting a Tonkinese, and I wanted further information to give to her about these breeds of cats.
Well, you know, there are many breeds of cats that a lot of people don't understand. You know, the Tonkinese and the Ragdoll. There's so many cats. There's the, oh, God, my mind going blank on me a little bit. But there are so many breeds of cats that people are unfamiliar with. The Tonkinese cat basically is intelligent. It's a curious cat, gets along well with other cats. Little playful. I had a couple that were a little mischievous once in a while. So it's a great, great breed of cat. But let me ask you another question. Your friend, does she have any cats now at all?
She had a cat. She had her for 7 years. She had cat cancer and died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But why the need for a purebred cat versus a shelter cat or a rescue cat?
Well, the reason why I was thinking about the Tonkinese is because we had one for 18 years, and she was a delight to us. So that's the knowledge that I have of that breed of cat, and I liked it so much I thought that she might like it too.
Well, she might, but let's talk let's talk honestly here, okay? You lived with one Tonkinese in your life, and it was the greatest cat you ever had. This cat was the love of your life. Well, I can tell you some people that live with Tonkinese, it wasn't the love of their life. So, you know, a lot has to do with what you put in. Now, if you're asking me, I am not an abolitionist. If she wants a Tonkinese or a Persian or a Ragdoll or a Maine Coon, whatever she wants is fine with me, whatever you want to get her. My feeling is this. What a legacy for the cat that crossed the Rainbow Bridge, for her to go to a shelter and adopt a shelter cat or a rescue cat. And by the way, many cats at shelters and rescues are purebred cats. Now, all that being said, there is a rescue organization for almost every breed of everything. If you were to go online and look for the Tonkinese Cat Club of America, they probably have a listing of Tonkinese rescues if that's the way you would rather approach it. From my concern, once the cat's in the house, I don't care if it's a Tonkinese, whatever it is. I don't care. Once I fall in love with it, I fall in love with the inside, not the outside. And what you put in, as I said, what you can get. Tonkinese cat, great cat, amazing cat. However, I would see a lot, the shelters are full right now, the rescues are full right now. I would love to see an adoption take place.
Well, that's good advice. Thank you.
Anyway, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, and you can hand it to him. I'm going to send you a copy of my cat book, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. And a great call, by the way. And, a lot of people say, okay, Warren, I want a purebred cat. I want a purebred dog. And I got to be honest with you. I'm not an abolitionist. I prefer everyone go to the shelter. Everyone take a dog or a cat off the streets. Everyone go to a rescue organization around the country. But there are certain people that grew up with a certain breed, and that's what they want. Maybe they grew up with a Dobie. Maybe they grew up with a Shepherd. Maybe they grew up with this. Maybe they grew up with that. Well, all of those breeds can be rescued as well. There's many, many purebred breeds. 25% at shelters are purebred. So that can easily be done. However, as I said, if you want a purebred, that's your option. But let me tell you, when you go to a shelter and you rescue a dog and you rescue a cat, give them some time to decompress. That dog, that cat will pay you back every single day for the rest of its life. Take my word. Hey, great time to give me a call. We got some open lines, lots of great stuff to give away. Hugs and kisses, as I said, back in stock. Lucy Pet Food. We have those T-shirts that say, "None of my friends walk upright." We have some copies of my best-selling books, Kitty Lickies, Doggy Lickies, Hip to be Square Dog Treats. So if you have a question or comment about your dog or cat, I'd love to hear from some people in terms of how they're dealing with the heat and their dogs and cats. Have you changed the walking times? Have you changed what you're doing with them, or any other questions you may have? Great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. Great time to give me a call. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Is your dog or cat ready for a second dog or a second cat? You may be, but is your dog or cat ready? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Also coming up, and this is really, really important. There's a lot of people out there professing to be behaviorists, professing to be trainers, and some amazing ones as well. But something they don't often talk about is something called single event learning. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Single event learning. What is that all about? But first, let me take another call here. Let's go to Monica in Huntington Beach. Hey, Monica. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Warren. How are you? Thank you for doing what you do. I'm concerned now. My husband called me. He only heard part of your program. I'm sorry I'm not tuned in. I'm working. But he said something he said about not feeding your dogs pumpkin spice, and I use Lucy's products that you got me started on years ago. So I'm trying to understand what you mean by no pumpkin spice, because they're
Listen, pumpkin is fine. Pumpkin is actually good for your dogs, but here's the dangers. When you go get pumpkin spice drinks or pumpkin spice cake, cinnamon, by the way, a flavoring that can be safe in small amounts, but can actually cause stomach upset in pets if they consume too much. Nutmeg, this spice can be harmful to dogs and may lead to symptoms like disorientation, high heart rates, or even hallucinations in large quantities. Ginger, often used for its warm flavor, ginger is usually safe for dogs. However, it can cause stomach issues if ingested in tremendous amounts. Cloves, like nutmeg, cloves can be toxic to dogs and should be avoided. Now, knowing the individual components help in understanding the risks that pose to dogs. Artificial sweeteners. A lot of the pumpkin spice drinks have artificial sweeteners, and things like xylitol can be deadly to animals. So you got to be real careful about that as well. However, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people don't think about it. They're just going to the store and they're getting a pumpkin spice, I don't know, ice cream, whatever, and they're just going to hand some to the dog. I say if you want to give your dog some pumpkin, that's okay. Now, when my dogs get pumpkin, here's what I do. I buy canned pumpkin, not canned pumpkin pie mix, not canned pumpkin anything, plain old canned pumpkin. If you want to make your own, feel free to do that. So pumpkins can be really good in terms of bulk, in terms of your dog in the right amounts. But again, stay away from pumpkin and spice. I'm sorry, you can have it yourself, just don't give it to your dogs, Monica.
Oh, I do. And I only use 100% pumpkin in the can for my one dog who has digestive problems, and I give it to the other one just so she doesn't get jealous.
Yeah,
but,
so I don't want.
Clarifying.
No, it's my pleasure. I don't want anyone to think that okay, I'm going to buy a cold pumpkin spice. I don't even know what. Listen, you're talking to a guy that drinks black coffee, okay?
Okay, and thank you for recommending Lucy's, because I am a #1 fan, and I love the lady Michelle who works for who sends me my thing every month. I really appreciate you saying that on your radio.
That's exactly what I say. The people that work there are the most passionate people in the world. So what I would like to do, what kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 rescues. I have a 10-year-old. She's a mutt. She's probably 5 different things. And the second one we rescued is a chocolate lab mix with we think, German Shorthair Pointer, but we're not.
Okay,
sure.
have you tried the Hip to Be Square treats yet?
The what?
Hip to Be Square treats by Lucy?
No.
Oh man, it's amazing. Listen, I'm ready to eat it myself. My dogs love it so much. Anyway, don't go anywhere. I am going to put you on hold. And the lovely, lovely Suzette, who types me messages throughout the whole show, the lovely Suzette's going to pick up and we're going to send you, or they're going to send you, some Hip to Be Square treats. By the way, an incredible product by my friends over at Lucy Pet. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Got some open lines, by the way. Brand new study says that dogs and cats that are spoken to more frequently by their guardians have a much better relationship, though. Does anyone have conversations with their dogs and cats? I'm surprised no one's answering the question of the day. Now, am I the only one that really believes that my dogs and my cats over the years absolutely love me? Am I the only one that believes that? Do you believe that your dogs and cats don't really love you, but they just tolerate you because you feed them, clean up their poop, take them for a walk? Let me hear from some people that believe like I do. Anyone out there who believes like I do that their dogs and cats can legitimately love them? What egos people have. What egos we have. Just assuming that we're the only ones that feel love. Have you ever seen a mama elephant rescue a baby elephant? I watched a video the other day of a dog that was in the rapids, drowning in the rapids. And another dog grabbed the stick. True story. Grabbed the stick, went to where the other dog was floating down. The other dog grabbed the stick, and the other dog pulled him out. Don't tell me they don't understand love. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A couple of open lines. We'll get to your calls, I promise. But let me just talk about this, because I want you really to understand this. It's so critical. You hear me often talk about the fact that dogs and cats learn through the associative memory. Now, let's talk about something I call single event learning. Single event learning is the ability to learn from one single exposure that has a long-lasting effect. I'm reading this off of what I posted on my YouTube channel. We'll talk more about YouTube later. For example, when a puppy is exposed to a single event that they perceive as frightening, that can stay with them their entire life. This can have a lasting effect that may persist for the rest of the puppy's life. So, what you need to understand is that any little thing, could be a firecracker, could be you dropping something on the floor, single event learning. If you have that situation, you need to compensate with counter conditioning right away. Because believe me, over the years, I have worked with dogs and the person said to me, well, it only happened once. only happened once, and now the dog reacts every single time I turn on the vacuum. Well, single vent, folks, single vent. Make sure you understand what that is all about. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. You may be ready for a second dog or cat, but is your dog or cat ready for a second dog or cat? We're going to talk about that. Also coming up, humidity. Now, I'm in Arizona right now, but we've got the monsoons, but we got some humidity. I got some sweat dripping down me. We're going to talk about humidity and how that may affect your dogs. That coming up as well. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let me take a quick break, then we'll get back to Brent. We'll get back to your calls after this. Next, Gomez. And we are back on the Pet Show. The phone number 866-870-KRLA. You know, I am so sick and tired of studies. If these people spent more time out of their lab coats and more time on their hands and knees working with animals, they'd understand them a lot better. In a recent study, research showed that overall people had lower anxiety levels and lower depression levels with dogs, but the same was not true for cats. I say, can I say BS, Alex? I just did. I say BS. I don't buy it. What is a better antidepressant, a better mood maker than hanging out with your favorite feline buddies? I say nonsense. I say cats are just as good at lowering anxiety as dogs are. And I'm sure that my engineer, Alex, he just moved. So, Alex, have your cats calmed you down a little bit during the move? I'm sure they did. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. We're going to get to Brent first. Then we got Liz in North Hollywood. We're going to get to all your calls, I promise. We got a couple of open lines, pretty rare. So if you've been waiting for 45 years to talk to me, now's a great time. 866-870-KRLA. And also, as I said, I'll talk more about this later. I'm going to talk more about my time on at Ground Zero. I'm going to be posting more of that information on my Instagram, also on my Facebook pages come Tuesday and Wednesday. It's something, if you were there, you live with every day. I'll talk more about it a different time. But right now, let me get back to the phone lines here. Let's go. I love my listeners. Let's go to, oh God, someone's calling from Bonnie. Wait, let me go to Bonnie first. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Bonnie.
Yes.
What are you asking me?
Oh, you had mentioned that you were in the Oceanside, New York Volunteer Fire Department.
I certainly was.
And did you ever know twins named Lenny and Kenny Deepfried?
Lenny and Kenny Giffrey, my buddies. I used to hang out with Lenny and Kenny all the time. They were both mailmen. I was in the hospital one time for a week with smoke inhalation. And at that point, Kenny was working as an orderly at night. These were hardworking guys. He was working an orderly at night at that time, I think it was called South Nassau Community Hospital in Oceanside. And I was laid up in bed with smoke inhalation. And I was a young, aggressive kid. And Kenny would sneak in at night with a beer for me. And he'd grab me some hamburgers from some other store. The great guys, Lenny and Kenny. In fact, Lenny lived right next door to the firehouse. He lived right next door to it.
The reason I know that is that Lenny is my cousin.
Oh gosh.
He is deceased, but he married my mother's sister's daughter, and I've known them for many years. And
great guys.
Did you know Bonnie Jean, his daughter?
I did. I knew Bonnie. I knew his wife very well. And is Kenny still around?
No, Kenny died before Lenny and several years ago. And between the two of them, they had 100 years in the.
Well, Lenny was the chief of the department quite a few times. Yeah, he was an interesting guy. Before I let you go, the thing I remember most is that when I was 17 years old, just turning 18, that there was a local bar in my hometown called Vic's Log Cabin. When I say gin mill, I mean gin mill. And Lenny and Kenny took me there and bought me my first drink when I turned 18.
Oh, really?
So I'm so glad you called because it brings back memories. And some of the guys I'm talking about that passed away or are in the process of losing it from 9/11 are also volunteers at Oceanside Volunteer Fire Department as well. What an incredible group of guys. One of the proudest times of my life. As a matter of fact, they just had a book published a couple of years ago, big book published, and they did a whole page on how I got in trouble for stealing the ambulance and taking dogs to the hospital. It's an interesting thing. But what a great call, Bonnie. So where do you?
What's that book?
It's actually a commemorative book. If you send me an email at mail@thepetshow.com, I'll hook you up with the person you can get it from.
Okay. Also, his daughter Bonnie Jean. She's married. She is named after me.
Oh, God bless you. I'm so
I am
glad
a Bonnie
you called.
also.
I'm so glad you called, Bonnie. So you live where, Bonnie?
I live in Long Beach, California.
Wow, there you go. And I spent a lot of time in Long Beach, New York with Lenny. Do you have any pets?
Not at the moment.
Well,
I would love to have lots of them, but I don't at the moment.
I'm sure you would. Anyway, let me do this. Let me put you on hold. I want to send you at least a T-shirt. What a great call. What memories. Lenny and Kenny Giffrey, God. They were an interesting couple. And, they caused me a few black eyes, bloody noses and stuff, but they were the most incredible twins. And as I said, when I was in the hospital with smoke inhalation for a week, they really saved my butt. Whew. But that call takes me back. 866-870-KRLA. Someday I'll share that page in that Oceanside Fire Department anniversary book, and they did a full page on me about how I wound up with the smoke inhalation. I've always been a weird kid. I was not an easy kid to bring up in the fire department, the military, the this, the that. Well, anyway. Mom and Dad, I loved you for putting up with me. I guess I got to take a break, huh? Let me take a break. When we come back, we're going to get to Brent. You're up next. We have Liz in Hollywood. Tim calling from the freeway. Wow, I want to get to your call, Tim, so hang in there. We'll get to your calls after this. I have to digest that last call. That brings my memories back. God, 60 years ago? 50 years ago? 52 years? God, Lenny and Kenny Giffrey. They kind of brought me up a little bit. Anyway. Quick break, then right back to your calls, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. On The Pet Show, let's see if we can get Brent in this hour. If I don't get you, Tim and Liz, definitely be there for me next hour. A quick break, but I want to talk to Brent. Let's go to Brent. Hey, Brent, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I am doing great, Brent. I kind of feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Because I wanted to comment on that question concerning do dogs and cats actually love us.
Yeah.
And this question always brings me to mind the touching, transcendent, and wonderful Twilight Zone in which Rod Serling tells of an old, sweet southern mountain man and his beloved flea-infested coon dog who both end up drowning together in a river. And they then find themselves being rejected from entering together into what they were initially led to believe were the gates to heaven, but they later find out were really the gates to hell. And then both of them are enthusiastically welcomed by an angel into the real gates of heaven because he himself is a great dog lover. And I think there's just a wonderful moral in that.
Yeah, I should have paid more attention to the Twilight Zone rather than hiding under my covers after my father made me watch it. Anyone who has such an incredibly large ego that believes that only those of us that walk upright could love each other. Only those of us that walk upright understand what love is about. The love, and I want to hear from more listeners about this as well, but the love that we receive from our dogs and our cats and birds and horses and other pets that we live with, it's such an honest love, and that's why I have such strong feelings for people that devote their lives and whether it be to one dog or whether it be to hundreds of dogs, like many of the rescue people I work with, like my buddy Joy. But the bottom line is that it's so true. If my dog were not able, of all the animals, my dogs, my pigs, my chickens, if they were not able to get into heaven with me, I'd be hanging out in hell just fine. I would rather be with them than anything else in the world because it's a total honesty. You know, humans disappoint, animals don't. That's just my belief.
But, Warren, I also think, I'm not quite sure what the nature of the love of the dog and cat is, but I do think God did give them to us so we can become better lovers. I think we can learn very well how to love through animals, but that doesn't always mean there are some very vicious people with very vicious animals as well.
Yeah, just like anything else, and there's no such thing as anything perfect in the world. You're going to have good, bad, and the ugly. It's just the way it is. What a great call, by the way. So Brent, what type of pets do you have?
Well, right now I don't have any. I used to have dogs and cats and lizards, and right now I haven't any.
But you're a big. I can tell you're a big animal lover.
Well, anybody who cares about God, nature, has to love animals. It's just I think we often mistake us with being the animals, and I think we have to recognize we are distinct, and we need them, but they're not here. We're not here for them. They're here for us.
It's interesting that you say that because in my book, I open both my dog book and my cat book with this quote. In the beginning, God created man, but seeing him so feeble, he gave him dogs and cats. And I both of my books, that's the opening of both my books. Anyway, what a great call, Brent. I got to move on, but let me at least do this. Let me put you on hold, and let me send you a T-shirt that say, none of my friends walk upright. And what a great call, by the way. I've got to check out that Twilight Zone episode. But I remember as a kid growing up, I would freak out. My father would make me watch Twilight Zone and I'd cover my heads when I went into the room. Not as brave as people think I am. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm going to break for the top of the hour. We come back. I got great calls coming. I got Liz coming in about her dogs, loving her. I got Tim coming in from the 5 freeway. I'm going to get to you first, Tim. Then we'll go to Liz. Liz will understand. He has a dog that died tragically by coyote. And then I definitely want to talk to Sharon in San Pedro. Is it Pedro or Pedro? My New York accent never lets me know. She rescued a Tibetan Spaniel from China. Some of the most amazing dogs in the world actually come from that area in Tibet. We'll talk about that. Get all your questions. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A real quick break for the top of the hour, and then back to all your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet. And if you love your dogs or cats, I'm assuming you do, but you want to find out why they behave the way they do. Your dog is jumping and humping. Your cat scratched your favorite chair, woke you up in the middle of the night, attacks the new cat in the household. You took your dog for a walk. The neighbor's kid was on a skateboard. He knocked him over. You can't go to the vet because your dog hates riding in the car. Get the idea. If you have a question or a comment or just want to share a great story about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. Just a reminder, everyone that calls into the show and gets to talk to me live will get a fabulous gift for their dog or cat. I got some hugs and kisses to give away. I haven't given away any hugs and kisses today. Lucy Pet Food. I got some Lucy Pet Food too. Gave away a couple of T-shirts. I got copies of my books. I got some air horns to give away as well. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Even if you just answer the question of the day, do you really believe that your pets can love you? Let me do this. Liz, you've been holding on the longest, but I'm going to bypass you for a second, Liz, just to go to Tim real quick. And then we'll go to my friend Sharon with her rescue dog from China. But let me go to Tim first. Hey, Tim, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Well, I saw the computer screen, and tell me what happened.
Yeah. We have these two wonderful dogs, a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and the little one is 2.5-year-old, about a 6-pound Maltese, and they are lovers of each other and my 3 kids and love to run and be outside. And so we have a gated front yard. And, it's a little bit of a shoddy gated front yard. We're in South Pasadena, kind of not, not really a wooded area. We don't see a lot of coyotes, but we hear about them. But lots of kids, lots of dogs, lots of activity. And our dogs love playing in the front yard. And so we allowed them to do that with a false sense of security. And we paid the price 2 weeks ago. When in the evening I came out because I only heard the older one barking. We tried to bring him in every night at dusk. We tried, but, with kids and coming and going and sports and all this stuff, there were times where they were out there a little bit longer than they should be at night. And the little guy, sure enough, got taken. One of the neighbors saw it. Coyote jumped our gate and grabbed him and ran off with him. And
Yeah,
we're now kind of in week 2, and we've got our older one, Coco, who's 5 years old, and he looks to be struggling, and we don't know what to do as with him. Of course, our grief is what it is, and we're getting through it. But with the older dog, he was there, he witnessed it, and I don't know that whether he has guilt over it or it's just
no, it's not guilt. But if you heard me talking about this earlier, just before when I was specifically talking about a single event learning, that the guilt is not part of it. Let me. I don't want to. This is a tough one for me to answer. Recently I moved to Arizona, okay? In the area I'm in, behind my house is a hiking trail. And a day does not go by where I don't see a coyote or a group of coyotes that are walking in that alleyway. Now, I have a real high fence around my house. I even have chicken wire on the fence as well. But that doesn't mean a coyote can't get in. They're like the Houdinis of the animal world. All that being said, my heart breaks for you, and I'm going to tell you how to get through the grieving process. But here's what I do. My dogs are never in my yard unless I am there with them. Now, if I had a German Shepherd, a Pointer, a Labrador, a Golden, or a large breed dog, I might go back on that a little bit. But my 2 dogs together weigh 12 pounds. They are not in the yard any time of day. Early in the morning, late at night, I am in my backyard with a walking stick, a heavy walking stick that I made up, and an air horn. I always have an air horn. As a matter of fact, in my new neighborhood, which is kind of a gated community, lots of people walk their dogs. And they're all, well, I saw a group of coyotes and my dog. So I just gave a bunch of them some air horns specifically so they can walk their dogs. So here's the important thing. Number one is you can't go back. You can only go forward. But I want you to understand that you're all going to be grieving together. You're going to be grieving, the dog's going to be grieving, and the best way to get away or get through grieving is to let it happen. There's going to be the anger, the frustration, the sadness, but at the same time, the best way to get through any type of grieving process is something in the psychological field we call distraction therapy. So, for example, if you normally took your dog out in the yard where you did, take him in the car, take him for a walk somewhere, take him to a friend's favorite house, take him to a pet store. Just change the routine a little bit at a time. Grieving is normal. And cry together. And talk about the dog together. And laugh about the fun times together. This will help your family get through it and help you get through it as well. Years ago, I did a lot of bereavement counseling in New York City for people that have lost their pets for any number of reasons. It wasn't a coyote problem back then. But the coyote factor is a lot more difficult to deal with than just a dog or a cat old or dying. And so it's going to take some time for you to get through it. You will get through it. 2 things I'm going to do. Number one is I'm sending you an air horn right off the bat. But more importantly than that, I want you to go to my website. How many, do you say I have 2 kids?
3 kids.
3 kids. I want you to go to, how old are they?
12, 13, and 15.
Okay. I'm sure they're devastated. On my website, there's a section, go to the look for, the question mark. There's a section there called the Ever After. These are poems and stories and articles written by people like yourself, my listeners, over the last 45 years after losing a pet. You'll get through it. Everything will be fine. Everyone's going to be okay, but it's going to take some time. But it's really important to let them cry together, talk together, but also equally as important is laugh together and spend special time with the surviving dog, letting him know that you're grieving as well as he is. You will get through this. It's never easy, and you never forget the death of a pet, but this will get you through it. So I'm going to send you an air horn, but for any of my listeners out there, please take it from me. Take it from me. Number one is that if you have a small dog, never outside without you. Yeah. Never outside without you. Easier said now, but I hear this story over and over and over again. In fact, there was some in my neighborhood where the coyotes were in groups were so blatant that someone walking their dog on a leash, the coyotes went to go after them, and luckily they were one of the people I gave the air horn to. Now, it scared their dog a little bit, but he was on a harness, so he couldn't get away, and the coyotes took off. So is it okay if I send you one of those air horns, Tim?
Please. Okay. Just can I ask one last question? Of course,
sure.
You know what the kids want, right? What do the kids want?
What do the kids? They want another dog, right?
Another dog.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They want another one right now.
No.
They're on Pet Finder as we speak, and I'm just like, no.
No. Now
it's not the answer.
What you're teaching by not allowing them to get a dog immediately, and if it were adults, it would be a different story on my part. But not allowing them to get a dog immediately lets them realize that it's not a revolving situation. I'm sure they're sad, but you lose one, you get another one. Because what's going to happen is if they go out and get a puppy right away or a new dog right away, they're going to make comparisons to the dog that was just lost, and that's not fair to the new dog. Not fair. So you wait a little while, and then what I would recommend that you do is when the time is right and you've sat down and had your family meeting about it, and you decide, you know what, maybe it is time to get a second dog. Make sure your dog is right. I was going to do a whole story on that, but make sure your dog. Well, let me do this right now. Sharon, Liz, I'm going to send you a great gift. Just hang in there. The most important thing to consider is when you get another dog is your other dog ready for another dog? Does he show interest in other dogs? Well, okay. So when he's ready, I would give it at least a couple of months, and then what I would do is I would take the kids. What an incredible lesson for life. Go to a rescue. Go to a shelter, and then adopt a dog. You bring your dog with you to make sure they're compatible, then adopt another dog. What a life lesson for your kids, and what a great dad you are.
Yeah, thanks, Warren. Appreciate that.
No, it's my pleasure. My heart breaks. I have tears in my eyes just thinking about it. But everyone out there has stories. So, and it's like someone said to me the other day. I wish someone would come in and just kill all the coyotes, and I'm so against that. They have every right to live. If you live in an area that's infested with coyotes, if you live in an area, for example, in my neighborhood, we have really, really large owls and large birds of prey. And my dogs are not out there. I'm looking up at the sky and saying, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!"
Nature.
Of course, I'm overly eccentric because I hear all the horror stories like this. But anyway, great story. Can you keep me posted, Tim? And let me know when you're ready. I'll guide you through it.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
In the meantime, put you on hold, and we are going to send Tim one of those air horns. Great call, by the way. I'm not a great call, but. So many coyotes. I just heard one of my neighbors was talking about their dog being stalked by a fox. They have every right to live. We just have to learn to adapt with them. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let me just say this, then I'll get to your calls. We're talking about, is your dog ready for a second dog? And some people say, well, my dog doesn't get along with other dogs. When I take him for a walk, he's reactive to other dogs. This is something I wrote this week, and I'm going to put up on YouTube. By the way, if you're not following my YouTube, it's free. Why? I share a lot of great info there, including my new pet aerobics class. So go to youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. If your dog is leash reactive towards other dogs when you walk him, doesn't mean they can't live with another dog. For many dogs, being on a leash is a specific context that causes fearful or reactive behavior. So you can definitely do it. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Got some open lines, pretty rare here. I guess it's pretty hot in California. Everyone's either outside or sitting in their air-conditioned car, but I do have a couple of open lines. I do have some hugs and kisses to give away, Lucy pet food, copies of my book, more T-shirts, and some more of those air horns as well. So 866-870-KRLA. Let me go to Liz first and then Sharon. Hi, Liz. Thank you for being so patient, Liz, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, just want to make sure. I was just calling in to say, yes, your pets absolutely love you. They give you the same amount of love or more back that you give them. Let me just tell you about my little family. I have 4 cats. 3 of them are ferals. One is a kitten that I rescued off the street. I've had her a year this month. Our most elderly cat he just turned 20 years old this month. And I adopted a Maltipoo, and if I was given the correct information, I adopted him at 14 years old, 3.5 years ago. So we're looking at a 17-year-old Maltipoo.
Whoa! You adopted You adopted a 14-year-old dog?
I did, and he's blind.
You are my hero of the day. No, seriously. Do you know her?
His name is Harley, and like I said, he was a family. He lived with the family, and whatever the family situation became, I do pet sitting full time now for a living. And one of our clients
texted out Harley's picture to me and the lady I contract for, and I went, uh-oh. So I met Harley, fell in love with him, and he is our one and only dog. Again, if in fact he was 14 when I adopted him, he's now in his 17th year. He's doing very, very well. Don't know how long he's been blind. I don't know why he's blind. I just adopted him that way.
Okay.
And we love him to death. He's got.
I can tell. And listen, there's not a minute that goes by that Harley doesn't know that you saved his life and rescued him. You know, it's amazing to me that there are so many people out there. My listeners, I have the greatest listeners in the world. I really do. I mean, you know, people are going to look for a puppy. My listeners are going to look for a 14-year-old dog, rescuing a dog off the streets in Arizona, rescuing a dog off the streets in Nevada, whatever. You guys are amazing because what you understand more than anyone else is looks don't matter. Looks don't matter. It may matter initially, but after you have a dog or a cat for a week or two, it's the heart, the soul of that animal that you fall in love with. And your first response to me is the fact that our dogs love us unconditional. In fact, I shared something. I'm looking for my notes here. I shared something. What did I put with it? I got so many papers in front of me. Those people watching on YouTube saying, Warren, you're nuts. What I wrote this week on my YouTube channel. And by the way, again, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'm starting this whole exercise class for dogs this week. Just a second. Well, this is what I wrote. Pets accept all of our emotions without being judgmental. Let me put you on hold. I got to take a break. I'll come back to you. And then we have Brian. We got Sharon. We'll get to all your calls. 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then right back at you. Once again, so let me get back to my friend Liz. Liz, you still with me?
Yeah, I got a few more seconds before I have to go. But can I just give you a real quick story, if it's okay?
Yeah,
I just
go.
want to give a shout out. I just want to give out a happy birthday shout out to Dexter. He's 20 years old this month. He's our cat, and he's doing very well. Him and Harley live together in the front of the house because he loves dogs, does not like cats at all. So they live together, and then my 3 ferals live with me in my bedroom because we have a very small space. But my 2 ferals, Jake and Shadow, were from a colony that I had been feeding for quite some time. It was over like 20 cats, and both Jake and Shadow at separate times had injuries that required extensive medical care. And I was able to get them because they were friendly with me to begin with. And Shadow was during.
You know, Liz, I can tell the reason that your pets love you so much is because it's reciprocal. I can tell it in your voice.
Yes, I love them.
It's reciprocal. I got to move on. I'm trying to think what I want to send you. You want some Lucy pet hugs and kisses, pet food? What do you want?
Whatever you want to send. The only thing is Harley is allergic. My dog is allergic to chicken, and so he can't have any chicken products.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put. You know what? I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you. Oh, God, I don't know. I'm going to send you. Have to read all. You know what? I'm going to send you this. I'm going to send you a T-shirt that says, "None of my friends walk upright." Okay? And I just don't want to make sure that none of the food is going to bother him. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. We're going to get to Barbara. We're going to get to Brian. We're going to get to all your calls. But right now, it's Sharon in San Pedro. Hi, Sharon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. It's good.
Hey, Sharon, help me out here. Is it San Pedro or San Pedro?
Well, actually, you can say it one way, and some people will be upset, and you can say it another way, and other people will be upset.
So that's what I like to be in a position where I'm not wrong or right. Those are the positions I like to be. Anyway, what can we do for you today?
I have a Tibetan Spaniel that I rescued from China, from the slaughterhouse.
Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you.
He was on his way there. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful dog. And he came into my life in January, a few months after I had lost my other rescue. And I spoke to you just about 3 months ago, and you were going to send me the how to get your dog to do what you want, but there was my address wasn't given. So I'd really like to have that now because he's still doing some things, but you told me to be patient like I was and said that I was doing the right things. And you're right that it took this time to get him to do some things, but he still won't come downstairs to my room where it's a lot cooler, especially now.
Does he go down the stairs at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
He goes up and down the stairs, and he'll even peek into the room. And the first 2 days that I had him, he slept in that room with me. But then on the third day, he decided he would be a true Tibetan Spaniel, and he sleeps at the top of the stairs guarding the house.
Well, let me tell you something about some of my favorite breeds of dogs from Tibet. You have the Tibetan Mastiff, which were the big guard dogs from Tibet. You have the Tibetan Spaniels. You have Tibetan Terriers, and the Lhasa Apso. You familiar with the Lhasa Apso?
Yes,
The Lhasa Apso of all breeds probably has the keenest sense of hearing. So the Lhasa Apsos were used as alarm dogs in Tibet by the monks. They would hear anything approaching because of their sense of hearing and would start making some noise, and then the big dogs would come out and finish the job, so to speak. But it's a great breed of dog. They're incredibly gentle. They generally get along with other dogs. However, having trained many of them, sometimes when you're working with them, they can look up and say, "You're talking to me?" So sometimes they can be a little bit independent, but little by little, you will achieve exactly what you want. And they do need some grooming, obviously. And you might want to run some things by your vet. Cataracts. There are some things that are medically more attracted to the breed. But other than that, great breed of dog. And bless you, how'd you get it from China?
There's a shelter out in the valley, and the woman has been doing this from China and Korea for 30 years. And she actually has the shelter in her home. She has about 6 dogs at a time.
Why don't I know this lady?
I don't know. She's out there in.
I've been on the air. What, almost 45 years. Here's what I want you to do. My email is mail@thepetshow.com. Mail@thepetshow.com. Have her send me an email. Maybe I can help her find some more homes for these dogs.
Okay, because last September he flew here from Beijing with 29 other dogs.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. Listen, my nephew just rescued a dog from Korea, a 3-legged dog from Korea. So I know what's going on. Anyway, Sharon, great story. Have her contact me. But in the meantime, I'm going to put you on hold, and I want Suzette's going to get the information, and we'll get that book out to you, I promise. It may take a couple of weeks, but we'll get that book out to you. I promise you that. My listeners are the best. This dog came from China. My nephew Adam just brought a 3-legged dog in, I believe from Korea. There are some amazing people out there, but you never hear these stories. You know, when you go on TV and you see all these people, oh, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did this for animals. It's everyday people like Sharon and this woman, obviously, that's rescuing these dogs. These are the people that my own Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund help. By the way, check out hugsandskissesanimalfund.org, and if you can, make a donation, because we'll help organizations just like that every single day. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Had all these great topics I wanted to talk about today, but the phones are jamming, so I'm going to get to the calls. Let me do this. Let me take a quick break, and when we come back, it's going to be Barbara, and then we have Vera, Peter, phones are jammed. We'll get to all your calls right after this, 866-870-KRLA. Be patient with me, 866-870-5752. Listen. And we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. The phones are jamming. Just a reminder, and this is important to me, so from my heart to yours. Coming up on Tuesday, I will be posting both on my Instagram, which is simply Instagram at Warren Eckstein. I'll be posting it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. My Facebook, and by the way, this is the best way to get to my Facebook, facebook.com/Warren Eck, E-C-K. People get my last name wrong, so it's facebook.com/Warren Eck. check out that Facebook page. Because what I'll be doing is I'll be posting my own personal archive photos that I took while working at Ground Zero with the NYPD K-9 unit. Nothing way too graphic, but actually one of the pictures is the first dog on the scene. So anyway, I will be posting that at Instagram, at Warren Eckstein, Facebook.com/Warren Eck, all my different Facebook stuff and Instagram stuff. So that'll be posted either Tuesday or early Wednesday morning. I think you might want to take a look at some of the photos that I have there. Some people forget. You should never, ever forget. I won't ever forget it for a minute. I can be there in a second if I just think about the smells and the sights and all the things that I had to see. Hopefully, never again. All right, back to the phone lines here. Let's go to Barbara, Huntington Beach. Hey, Barbara, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I'm doing okay, Barbara. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great. I listen to you all the time. You've given me so much good advice over the years, and I appreciate that. It's just amazing, some of the things that I've learned from you. And I've had pets all my life and thought I knew everything, but when I start listening
that's how I feel. That's how I feel about my car.
Anyway, I just wanted to talk about pets loving you. I believe with all my heart that my pets absolutely love me. I put the key in the door, and when I open that door, there is my 17-year-old Chihuahua, my rescue Chihuahua, and my rescue cat. They're all three staring at the door. My 17-year-old Chihuahua becomes a puppy again. He is so happy. I mean, he can moan and groan around here, and his eyesight's not that great. He's got a little dementia going. But when I come in that door, it's like he's a year old. He's just, and from the kitchen, I have a ringneck parrot. I hear, love you, love you, love
They're
you.
great. Well, I love ringneck. I love ringnecks. They're all parakeets.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love ringnecks. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a rescue. He crashed into my kitchen window. I thought he was dead. I was looking for a place to bury him. I came back in. He was flying around the kitchen. I've had him for 9 years now. I taught him to talk, which I'm not sure if that was a good idea. But, yeah, he starts yelling, I love you, I love you, as soon as I walk in the door. And he's in the kitchen. So you would think that, you know, some people think birds aren't smart. But when he says that to me, I believe it.
You know, one of these days, I'm going to tell you how smart birds are. I had the opportunity of working with a lot of African greys, a lot of spectacled Amazons, blue and gold macaw, and I'm telling you, birds are very, very. It's like living with a toddler your whole life. They're absolutely amazing. Anyway,
I lost. I had a parakeet. She was going on 15. I had her since she was a little baby. Her name was TC. And that bird would kiss me in the morning, kiss me. I mean, no matter how often I put my face up there, she would kiss me. When I lost her, I was devastated.
I'm sure, Barbara. Barbara, let me do this. Speaking about loving and animals and stuff, okay, let me tell you a quick story. I all told you that my lovely wife, Denise, had gone through some surgery that didn't go so well. So she had to have the surgery redone again. And she's doing a little bit better now. She's at home, but still in a wheelchair. But before that, she was for 2 weeks, she was at a rehab care center. And I would go there every day. And then I'd come home. And of course, I was with Molly and Willie, feeding them and walking them and taking care of them and schmoozing and loving and hugging and kissing, whatever I was doing. Now, my dogs must have been listening to music years ago, because my dogs have this attitude: love the one you're with. Because the minute I got it on a video, Denise won't let me post it. I have a video. I videotaped them when Denise came home. She rolled herself into the bedroom, got into the bed, and then I let Molly and Willie, hadn't seen her for 2 weeks, and I said, guys, I've been feeding you. I've been walking with you. I've been cleaning up your poop 3 times a day. She's been away. And it's like I don't exist anymore. It's like love the one you're with. It's exactly. But anyway,
I saw a video on Facebook, and it said, "What my dogs do when I leave the room." Okay, and it showed a man and woman sitting on the couch watching TV, and they had 3 big dogs. Okay, and the dogs are on the couch with them. He gets up and leaves, and the dogs don't do anything. She gets up and walks out of the room, and they all follow her.
Do you?
I thought that was the funniest.
There was do you remember the sign that used to be on bumper stickers? It used to say, well, this is what Denise's bumper sticker would say, husband and dogs missing, reward for dogs. No doubt about it. No doubt.
You know, my husband passed away 15 years ago, but I remember one time I came in the door, and of course the dogs ran, and I was hugging. He says, "Why do you hug and kiss the dogs before you do me?" And I said, "If you can beat them to the door, you'll be first."
Anyway, great call, by the way. So I'm trying to think, what do you want? What can I send you?
Oh, geez,
I know what I'm going to send you. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to send you the most expensive thing I have. I'm putting you on hold, and you'll get in a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. Great call. You guys are amazing. The phones are jam-packed. I got Tim, Vera, Grace, Pete. I'm going to try to get to all your calls. But you know by now, at 1 o'clock when I get off there here, I don't stop working. I do my national Radio America, my Armed Forces radio show. Why is my hand up there? My Armed Forces radio show. And it's the same type of show. I give away the same type of gifts, and I'll give you that number later on. So if I run out of time, which is something I generally do, I will definitely take your calls on the other end. So I just brought this up at the last minute, but it's so true. Pets accept all of our emotions without being judgmental. You know, human to human, we always judge each other, constantly judging each other. Our dogs don't judge us. You know, you can be yourself in front of your dog. Forget to brush your teeth. Your dog doesn't care. Your dog loves you for who you are. Your cat loves you for who you are. I think that's why my T-shirts are so successful. You know the ones I'm talking about that say, "None of my friends walk upright." Now, there's only one place in the world where you can get those T-shirts. And that money, by the way, goes to my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, rescuing more animals. So if you don't have a T-shirt that says, "None of my friends walk upright" with the Pet Show on the back, what are you waiting for? Go to my website, the only place you can get them, thepetshow.com. While you're there, enjoy all the great articles, the articles about me training dogs for the mafia, my celebrity clients, and some of the rescue work I've done. But when you go to thepetshow.com, you can get the T-shirts that say "None of my friends walk up" right there. So check it out. All right, let me do this. The phones are jammed. I got to take another break. Don't blame me. Blame Alex. He's the ogre here. And I will come right back to your calls. I'll get to all your calls right after this. 866-870-KRLA. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. I'm going to get right back to the phones. Let me give you the phone number for the network show, because I know I'm not going to get to everyone's calls. Write this phone number down. You can start calling it at 1 o'clock, not before. It goes to Washington, D.C. It's toll-free. It's Radio America, Armed Forces Radio. It's my national show. I give away the same gifts. Write this number down, but don't start calling till 1 o'clock. That number is 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. 8255. Let's go to Dina. Hi, Dina. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Warren. I wanted to tell you that I spoke to you before. I love your show. My Mimi, she's the Dachshund Rescue from Van Owen and Van Nuys.
Yeah.
But every Saturday, I don't have to, but I do. This is the only time I ever leave her. I go to the synagogue. I'm gone for about 3 hours. When I come back, like I just got back, she jumps all over me, and which I love. But what I'm worried, should I stop going to the synagogue because I'm worried about what is she crying? I know this sounds like I'm ridiculous. Is she worried about me? What is she doing?
You know, you may be right. You do sound like you're ridiculous. Listen,
I sound like I'm a sugar now, but
you sound like my typical listener. But let me explain a couple of things to you right off the bat. Dogs whine for many, many different reasons. It could be anxiety, could be fear, could be pain, could be desire for attention, could be excited, could be they want attention. I would continue going to the synagogue and say a prayer for your dog as well. In terms of the jumping, we can stop the jumping, but I can tell right off the bat that you don't want to stop it.
No, because I understand what I do. I take my clothes off because, I wear nice clothes because I don't want her to scratch it up. I go, wait, until Mommy gets undressed, and I hurry up, just throw the clothes down, and then I pick her up. You know,
So you come home from the synagogue, or my grandparents, the shul. You come home from the shul or the synagogue, right? And then you change your clothes so the dog can jump all over you and greet you.
Yeah. Well, because I don't want those are my shul clothes. I don't want them.
No, I understand. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely perfect. But also, I don't think you should change it. I think the dog is excited that you're back home. He's whining because he's excited. He's whining because he wants attention. If you want me to stop him from jumping on you, I can. But you don't want it. Leave it alone. Enjoy the temple. Enjoy coming home.
Oh, you don't think though while I'm gone, she's not like walking around in circles? Wondering where did she go?
Leave the radio on. Let me recommend the station KRLA. Put down some special toys around the house that she only gets when you leave. I think she's absolutely fine. When you come home, she's happy to greet you. She goes back to her normal state, and leave well enough alone. Enjoy temple. Pray your heart out. The dog is fine. She's probably praying when you're at temple by herself. Don't worry about it. She's fine. I promise you.
I said it to you before. I never thought I could love this, a dog. I used to see people. Everyone has a dog. And I used to think, oh, boy, aren't they overdoing it? I love this dog so much. I talk to her. I pick her up. I kiss her. And she sleeps with me, too.
Well, listen, I got to move. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm sending you some doggy lickies. When I was dating, the first thing I did was introduce the person I was dating to my animals. And at that point, I had 6 chickens and ducks and rabbits and 2 1,200-pound pigs and maybe 20 dogs. And I got to be honest with you, there weren't a whole lot of second dates until the lovely Denise. I took the lovely Denise up to my rescue place in upstate New York, and she met some of my pets, and the reaction is, 25 years, 26, I don't know, 20, she's going to correct me, 25, 26 years later. Let me do this. Let me take a quick break. We'll come back and try to get to some more calls. I'll give you that number again when we come back. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. Warren Eckstein, I'm going to run out of time, so write this number down. The same type of show, the same type of gifts. You can start calling at 1 o'clock. Tim, Vera, Grace. The phone number, 877-725-8255. Let it ring. It's going into Washington, D.C. It's toll-free, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Let me see if I can help out Peter real quickly. Hey, Peter, welcome to The Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Thanks for taking my call.
It's my pleasure. What's up?
All you do. I've talked to you before about my little female cat. I have 2 rescue cats, a male and a female. She's about 1.5 years old. And all of a sudden, she started moving her water bowl around the floor, spilling water all over the place. I've tried different locations, second bowl. Nothing seems to be working. I've now got one of these little flower things that, drop the water over the end type of thing. And they both sat there and looked at it.
Well, the thing you need to do is you have to leave it there before you actually start using it. Just put some water in the bowl area so they get used to where the water is before you actually... Okay, because then the noise can really freak them out. Okay, so there's a couple of things going on here. Number one, both the cats are healthy?
Yes.
And they both get along really, really well?
They're very well bonded, yes.
Okay. How many water dishes do you have down?
I had 2. We initially had 1, which they seemed very comfortable with, and then when she started doing this, I added a second water bowl.
Are the water bowls right on the floor?
No. They're on the tray that we use. It's a rubber-type tray that their food is on, which they...
No, but I mean, I'm asking, is it raised? Is it the height of it, is it raised?
No, it's not raised.
Okay, you should try raising it about shoebox length, a little bit less than that. Try raising the bowls. That's number one. Number two is what you can do is you can actually buy these little bowls, and they're already in a stand. You don't even have to raise them. They're in a little metal stand. I would fill both of those with water and put that stand down. 2 bowls next to each other on one of those metal stands, which they really can't move around that much. It sounds to me like something, there was that one thing can cause an associative memory thing. So something must have happened to change it. How old are the cats?
Well, Yeah, she's about a year and a half, and he's almost 2. So I think what it was there were some ants on the thing that we put down before we put down their bowls, and I had to take it out and wash it and take soap to it and everything else.
That's probably you change it. Try. This is what I would do: is try a brand new one. Take one of those raised ones, the 4 legs. Take the water that's already in the dish that you have now. Don't throw that water out. Take that water, put that into the new dish. See if that doesn't make a difference. It might not, but see if that doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
Do they go into your bathroom at all? Do they jump on sinks or bathtubs?
Yes.
Why don't you leave the water drip a little bit? Let the water drip a little bit. Just for, a little while. Let it drip a little bit. See if that doesn't help. Now, the only other reason that would cause it, if there's some medical reason we don't know about. I know I'm going to run out of time. It's a great call, by the way. Let's try that. Let's try raising it up a little bit. Okay. That's number one. Both dishes filled with water that's already in one of their dishes. If that doesn't make a difference, call me back next week and I'll go a little further with you, okay?
Thank you, Warren. I did call you once before. She's very fussy. She was fussy about her toilet habits, but that got cured.
Well, let me do this in the meantime. Let me put you on hold. Let me at least send you some kitty lickies. You might want to try some of those kitty lickies around the edge of the bowl, the water bowl as well. See if that doesn't help a little bit also. I don't know where these hours go. Tim, I'm sorry I didn't get to you. Vera, Grace, but I know I got your names. TVG. You will be my first 3 callers on the Los Angeles, on the international show now, because we're on Radio America, Armed Forces Radio, go all over the world. So I want you to write this number down. You can start calling at 1 o'clock, not before, but please be patient. I give away the same gifts, but it's going into Washington, D.C. They got to make the switch over. So write this number down. Start calling at 1-877-725-8255. And remember, coming up this Wednesday is the anniversary of Ground Zero 9/11. If you look on my website, if you look on my Instagram, if you look on my Facebook, on Tuesday, I will be posting all of my own personal photographs from my time at 9/0 with the New York City Police K-9 unit. Until then, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and once again, thank you for listening to The Pet Show.